Good evening, guys. My name is Brad Dick. Welcome to the Brad Dick Show. Tonight we have an interesting little lineup for you. It should be fun. We're going to open up some questions where you guys are maybe interested in asking questions to me that you may have questions for, about Chimera, whether it be CGS, whether it be the Pro-Am, what's going to happen. Hopefully I can answer some of your questions. Maybe I can't. I try to be the fountain of all knowledge, but sometimes I'm just not that. Tonight, I am representing Chicago Chimera, as you see right here on my shirt, Chicago Chimera. If you want to have a little more information on this CGS franchise, go to chicagochimera.thecgs.com. We have a lot of neat stuff right there. Nick Lupo, Keems, Portland, myself, and of course our general manager, Brian Flanders. A heck of a job. Some changes have been, up in the air as of recently with Chicago Chimera, and I'm going to answer some of those questions. And the biggest question of all of you are wondering, the Counter-Strike Source community, why Lloyd Shaffer? Now, I know there's a lot of things up there stirring up amongst you guys talking. I know you're talking pro source. Well, there's a lot of good players out there, but why Lloyd? Why Lloyd Shaffer? I mean, why him versus a Dirty Secret? Why him versus a Disciple? Why him versus a, it doesn't make a difference who it may be. But I'm going to answer some of those questions tonight, and I'm going to tell you why we chose Lloyd Shaffer as to be, our starting new fifth player. And I'll tell you, a little bit of questions on why Tripp decided to leave and retire, in a sense. Not so much retire, but leave CGS temporarily. So he did not get cut, so don't even think that. We really appreciate what Tripp has done for us. All right, so first, let's talk a little bit about what's happened in Brad's life, all right? Since it's always, the Brad Dick Show, I like to give an update to my people who actually, try to keep up to date with me in regards to, what goes on in my life. I did get the head wrestling coach job here in Oklahoma City, so I've been very occupied with that. It's kept me very busy. Not to mention they've also asked me to be an assistant football coach at the school that I teach at, and I've enjoyed it. I've never really coached football before, but I played it when I was a kid, and I enjoy it. I love learning new things. I'm a guy who's open-minded about, getting different ideas, different opinions, different styles of teaching, and I think that football is a great tool for that. Some of you guys that might have played football before, I probably understand that. I'm learning different defenses. I'm the defensive coordinator. I'm learning how to do cover two on different situations, on how you do strong trips left, strong trips right, and cover three. And anybody that's played NCAA football or whatever, it's a learning process if you're coaching it. I tell you what, if you ever played the game, it's totally different. I'm not having to learn it. Wrestling team's coming up. I'm excited about that. I think we'll have a pretty decent team. I'm having to start something kind of from the ground up, in a sense. I think we'll be decent, but I have some young guys. We're going to be a young team, and I have to take that young team and build confidence with them. So that's a big factor. Building confidence, building people up to where they think in their mind that they can succeed. And I think that's one of the things that I do good. As for my leave of absence recently, I've been away from esports for about 2 or 3 months. It's been a while. I've been away since CGS quit the season. I've been pretty much vanished. I've tried to actually hire a couple assistant general managers for myself for my own organization that I have, which is Eximius Sports. That hasn't worked out too well for me. They haven't exactly ran it the way I want them to run it, but I have someone who is running it pretty good now. I think he's real familiar with the way I run it. It's Brett Few Sheffield, and Brett does a heck of a job. And Brett, I think he's listening tonight, and so I appreciate it. I really do. Now to the big questions. A lot of people keep asking me, who. Let me go ahead and look at this couple of questions. I hope I have any questions real fast. I don't think I have any. Everybody loves my chair, obviously. All right. But the Triple 20 tells me thank you, welcome back, Brad, and I do appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm going to be away for quite a while, and my new assistant few, if you guys have any questions, you need to go to him, because I'm pretty much giving Eximius, I'm like, there it is. I'm focusing on Chimera, and I'm going to help Brian out, and I'm focusing on that. I think we have a very good possibility of being a very good team next season. Even with the addition of Shaffer, losing Tripp is tough, but I think I don't think we're losing anything there. I think putting Shaffer in and taking Tripp out, I think it's an even match in my opinion. And Lloyd brings a lot of things to the table, which we're going to talk about here in a second. Now, I want to go ahead and answer a few questions, so if you guys have any questions for me, please PM me. And on my Chimera name in pound Chicago Chimera, okay? Go ahead and PM me on my Chimera name, and I will answer your question. I won't answer any questions if you PM Brad and Dickham in the Eximius name. I won't do it, okay? This is a Chimera show. I give you updates on what I do, because that's part of my life. But this is a Chicago Chimera show. As you see, I'm repping them. I love it. I love the team. I want us to succeed so bad next year. I'm pumped. I'm pumped about the draft coming up in the combine this season. Where did I buy the chair? I got it from my brother Michael Dick, who's back from LA. Excuse me. I'm not going to answer any questions in regards to Lloyd Shaffer as of yet, because I am going to cover most of them. I got that. I don't know. I got the chair from my brother. Okay, so that's about all I know. Any other questions? Okay. Chair. Great. All right. If you have any questions, real questions, please just contact me and PM me. But while I'm waiting on that, let's go ahead and start with the real question. Here's some qualifications. There's some qualifications that have to be chosen for the Championship Gaming Series. 1, you have to be invited. Okay? You have to be invited to be able to participate at the Combine. Okay? If you did not get to participate or get an invite to the Combine, there's no way of getting into the CGS. Shaffer and his team, a pub team, or kind of like a pug, excuse me, they got accepted an invitation. They accepted an invitation to the Combine. They showed up. He showed up with Mantic and a couple other guys, pretty good players. This pug didn't do well, but Lloyd did fairly decent himself. In regards to that, but you also have to, like I said, you have to be invited. Now, number 2, you have to actually be at the Combine. All right? If you're not at the Combine, or you were there for a day, and you weren't there the whole time, then it's pretty much like, hey, we're not going to waste our time with this person. Okay? Number 3, the third qualification that we kind of looked at was, does this player have, a good attitude? Does this player have, a fun vibe about them? Can they have fun at one time but also be serious the next? Do they show up? Do they have a history of showing late for practice? Do they have a history of coming in and out of the game? Or do they play consistently? And that's a big deciding factor. There's a lot of players in Counter-Strike Source that will have said, hey, I retire, I quit, I want to be done for a while. And, that's okay. You may have personal reasons and personal things in your life that have altered your playing, and that's priorities, though. And I will respect any player that takes their priorities above gaming in real-life situations. If you have to get a job and you're low on money and you can't afford internet to play gaming, then you need to get that's your priority. And so I support any player in that. And that's a big reason. Next, you cannot be, we could not take another taxi player. And you say that, you're like, well, I thought the rule was that the CGS this season could take any taxi player that they want as long as they were taxied with another squad. That is true. However, we could not bring in another player from another organization at a set date. For instance, if we wanted to bring in Lloyd at in that period in between start of CGS shooting that season and off season, like preseason, we probably could have pulled a taxi player in, but we missed that deadline, so we could no longer take a taxi player. We couldn't take another taxi player for the organization. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how in the heck, what happened to our taxi players in our team? The Chimera taxi players, which were Fam and Hackshot. Okay? There's some issues there. Okay? Both very good players. Pham is one of the best players, in my opinion, for an M4 in the game. But however, has a contract with Mob Gaming, I think. I'm not sure on that. And also has a desire to play 1.6. I respect that. So does Brian. We're not going to have anybody in the organization that don't want to be there. You know, they want to play their game for fun, and that's good. You know, in my opinion, I think that's good. And the other was Hackshot. Hackshot, we came to him and asked him, hey, can you maybe come up and be a player? And at the time, he's switching jobs, and you know, I don't want to get in his personal life, but he had things that he had priorities that needed to be done. And we respect that opinion of him. So that leaves the Chimera we're leaving with 0 taxis. So we have to go hunting. You know, if we're wanting players and we have a player that comes to us say, hey, I want to go on and pursue other things for now, which was Trip. Trip came to Brian. He said, hey, I'm not sure if I want to do this anymore. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I do well at something else that he does also, and he said that I don't know if I want to do it, and we respect that, you know. And we said, well, you make a decision for us and come tell us. He respectfully came to us and told us what he wanted to do, and so, being, you know, Corey, we let him out, and which leaves us 1 slot open with no taxi players, so we had to go hunting. Brian came to me and asked me to go hunting, and I said, you know, I'll do my best, and I'll try to do whatever I can to find a good player for you. He brought up Lloyd Shaffer's name. I said, very good player. I said, very committed, and the first thing I pulled out of him, I pulled out a stat on him. Now, none of you can compete with this stat. The very first big CPL land that ever hit the North American soil was Summer CPL 2005. Lloyd, excuse me, Lloyd actually was the lead, statistically the leader, without making it all the way to the finals at the CPL. In not just Source, but every game at the CPL. So that says a lot about a person, you know. So Lloyd carried the team of Whoop Gaming, which was with me. He was with Whoop Gaming at the Summer CPL. I got to see him in action. I got to see him on behind the game, and not just, you know, I got to see him when he was not playing, but being Lloyd. What kind of tendencies does this person have? What does he have a good attitude? Does he consistently, you know, downgrade his teammates? No. We all went out. We had a good time. We went to eat Mexican food here in Oklahoma City when he was here. You know, I said, you know, this guy's a good guy. And, you know, whenever he split away from me, and I said, you know, he's a guy that I would love to have back at any time. And so when Brian brought up his name and he thought I told him asked me what I thought, I said, you know, he would be an excellent addition for this team. He's never retired here, and he's always consistently played at one time or another. He plays a lot. He 10-mans a lot. We told everybody out there in the Counter-Strike Source community, we're looking for a player that consistently 10-mans, DMs, and plays the game. Okay? And Lloyd Shaffer fit that picture. I frequently check on players. You know, I'll go to what they call Game Tiger. We all know what Game Tiger is. I'll check on different players. And so will Brian. Brian will be like, Game Tiger, who's actually doing what? Who's playing? Who's DMing? Who's doing what? Who's playing, scrimming, pugging, whatever. We do it. Every general manager does it. You guys don't think we look at it, but it's our job. You know, we want the better. We want to have a betterment for our organization and for the CGS, that we have to do it. So, whenever we tell you one thing, don't take it lightly. You know, I think, you know, we don't have really any taxis in Chicago Chimera right now. Maybe one. Maybe. We're not even sure about it yet. But we're possibly looking for 2. Possibly. Maybe 1. Not sure yet. But we encourage those who went to the Combine, step up. You know, start playing. Show some dedication. Because that's what's going to happen. Chicago Chimera might be looking for a few. Not sure. That's Brian's decision. That's Brian's ultimate decision. But I'll tell you what. We're going to choose the person who wants to play this game. Who wants to be committed to this. Who wants to be in the championship gaming series. Who takes it serious. Who loves this. Not just for the money. Not for the TV spotlight, but loves to play the game and loves to compete. That's the 2 things, in my opinion, that make the best gamers. You know, a player that loves the game, loves to compete, loves the competition, loves the heat, loves the intensity. If you have ever played in athletics, you know you know what I'm talking about then. And we're very serious about it. You know, we don't know if there'll be changes in Chimera next season or not. There might be changes at the Combine and the draft. We don't know. But at this point, Lloyd Shaffer is our 5th and final starter for now, until that Combine hits. Now, I make a challenge with Lloyd. Lloyd, continue to do what you're doing. You know, you've worked your butt off. We've had numerous conversations about this, about, you know, you trying to make it here, and, you know, you thinking you deserve a shot. Here's your shot. You got it. You know, grasp hold of it. Another player I can compare you to is Brar. Brar busted his butt. He's there. He's proved he can be there. He's done well on land. Now go do it, my friend. You know, I'm proud to have you in Chimera. I really am. I'm very proud of it. You know, I think we made the best decision in all of season and all of the Counter-Strike Source community. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions. For anybody that has a question about what I've talked about so far, or in regards to CGS and Chicago Chimera or whatever. Was Riddick a play or any player from Fever ever considered? No, not at this point. I'm not trying to be mean or in any way, but no, not at this point. Now that could change in the future. It depends on, you know, like I just told you. Do you think Nightfall will get drafted in the upcoming draft if he makes an effort to go and get that? Nightfall has a good name for himself. You know, Jacob has a really good name for himself, and you know, I'm impressed with the way he's kind of taken his. You know, it says a lot about a person who loses that much weight. You know, he gains some weight, he loses it back. It shows some dedication. You know, Nightfall, he works out consistently. You know, I hope that you know, Jacob takes that same standpoint with his workout and his and him losing weight and applies it same to gaming. Because I know Jacob can be on a CS high at one time and then absolutely say, like, I don't want to play anymore. So on that note, I do hope that he gets in the CGS. I think he's a good player. I think he's good for the game. So I can't answer if he gets in the draft or not. You know, I don't know. I really don't. I do know that there's a couple teams that may be looking for new players, and you know, he might fit that. He might fit it, may not. Thank you very much, Rainfall, for that question. Let's see here. Am I not? No, I'm not. I'm not using that hair gel anymore. Do I think Chimera will pick up some new players for the CSS division? A Gamer asked me this. M3 A Gamer asked me, will we? You know, that's up to them. You know, that's up to them completely and up to Brian. And, you know, if Brian asks for my help, then I'll help out too. We like our players. We do. But we think that we need to see some change. We need to see some, you know, them to step up a little bit. Or else there needs to be some change, probably. Thank you for the question. Okay. BMK from Dynamic asks, why Shaffer over anyone else and why wear sweatpants and a tucked-in shirt? Well, I always tuck in my shirt with sweatpants because that's just a wrestler and a coach's standpoint. That answers that question. Like I said, well, after everything that after I just told you, yes, because Shaffer did all those things, and he's that type of player. Was Adrian ever brought up? No, because Adrian wasn't at the Combine, from my understanding. I don't think he was at the Combine. Okay. Okay, Billy asked me, if you guys are considering recruiting more taxis, how and will that go down? First and foremost, it has to be a player, in my opinion, that was at the Combine. I think to be taxied, you have to have been at the Combine. That's my. I'm going to go on a limb and say that. Okay, I think that, you know, that sounds about right. Now I'll check with Brian about that for you guys, but I do think that you had to been a player at the Combine to be able to be accepted for a taxi squad participant. Okay. Very good. Thank you for the question, Mr. Hyper Billy. Adrian, like I said, Adrian wasn't. I don't think he was at the Combine. Any serious questions? You know, serious questions. precision at this point was not. Mr. Reagan HTTT or somebody says, yes, he was at the Combine. Was he considered as a fifth man? Not at this point. He was not. Who is my personal consideration for Chimera if I pick him up? If you're asking for my opinion, I don't know if I want to give my individual opinion. That's something I will come to that person. You know, I'll come to that person between me and him. You know, I'm not going to necessarily give out that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go out here and say I want this guy, because that might be that's going to be unprofessional. I don't agree with that at all. Thank you. What do you think the chances are of a Zombler other than Brar getting drafted? Brar's already drafted, and Brar's going to stay. If I'm Alex Conroy, I do not let anybody from my CSS team go. Maybe one, max. I keep the same 4 that I have. Why? Because they were dominant. That would be stupid. I mean, Alex is a good friend of mine. I mean, I helped him out all when they went into the playoffs. For CGS, I got to know those players very well. They played very hard. They're very serious. Brar, Mustang, Dominator, Zid, and Sunman. Those 5 need to stay. You know, that's big. You know, he can afford to let go his PGRs. He can afford to let go. He's going to let go one CSS player because he'll keep Master. That's my opinion. He'll keep Master and he'll keep 4 CSS players, and I think that's how he'll go about doing it. He'll build his team around that once again. His big name getters was Master and the CSS squad. So Brars, and to answer the Zombler's question, I really liked, you know, it's hard to say. I like Heatwave. I love Heatwave. I really do. My favorite player in CGS. Frank asked my favorite player in CGS. My favorite player has to be DeBears. Why? Because Eric and I have a close relationship. Eric is a good guy, and we always get along. Went to go work out while I was up there, and me and him always have a big smile on our face when we see each other. So I'd have to say Eric. Okay, next question. Yober asks, he says, I don't think Shaffer will be able to compete at the top level of CSS. He's a nice, good guy, but skill-wise, I don't think he can compete with the best. You should look at people not at the Combine. Well, we can't. You have to get this. We can't look at other people. We have to have somebody at the Combine. That's rules. Okay? You can't be on a taxi team. You can't get into the CGS without going to the Combine. Simple as that, hands down. No, Polar. No, Polar. No, Polar. Can you give us an idea as to which other names were brought up when choosing a new 5th? No. I can't do that right now. I'm sorry, Omoga. I know that you would love to hear that, but I can't give that information. I'm sorry. What happened to the... I'm not going to answer that. That's in regard to Eximius. Adrian asked me, Brad, wouldn't it be this coming combine that would decide pickups, taxi players, since it's this upcoming season? Yes. But you have to remember, we're competing in CGS Pro-Am. We're competing in SIVO. We have to have taxi players to actually be able to bring broad in if we need them. So yes, even though it is the season's over, we can still bring those players in to compete for Chimera. If that makes any sense, Adrian. Rainfall asks, another question. Have you spoken with any of the former Team Eximius, Messiah, Albrecht, Zuh, etc.? And if so, do they have any plans to play in the upcoming draft? I know Messiah, Albrecht, and all those guys will play. They are very good guys. They are some of the best players and the best guys that I've ever had to deal with. And I was honestly sad to see them, get broken up. And in my opinion, they're still great. They can make a team together with, Albrecht, Messiah, Bricks, and, Hare when he comes back. I know Hare's coming back sometime soon. Okay, I know he is. Michael's going to come back and play in the draft. So, and he's right now one of the core taxi players. Alright, so he'll be back, but whenever that happens, hopefully maybe we'll have an Eximius comeback, who knows. Triple 20 asks, what will you do now Few has control over Eximius? Few doesn't have control over Eximius. I'm overlooking Few. So, Brett, don't even start with me, Big Daddy. Don't get me on camera and do this. Zoid asked me, how do you think Chicago will do this season? Zoid from Ion. It depends. You know, Chimera is a very strong franchise. We have very good racers. That's our key. We have very good racers. Now, this year, we had a little struggle with our DOA. Our DOA is a little weaker than what we thought it was going to be. Kasumi last season tore it up. Okay. Black Mama tore it up. MVP. This season, both not so hot. You know, didn't do too well. Now, hopefully, maybe that can change. We don't know what's going to happen yet. But we know Counter-Strike will be used as a game next season. We don't know if DOA will be used. We don't know if FIFA will be used. We don't know if PGR 3 will be used. Okay? We don't know yet. Or Forza. Or whatever. We don't know yet. So we have to wait on that, and then that will be the deciding factor on how good Chimera will be. So I can't answer that question. Frost asks, which online teams do you hope to show up the Combine next time around? You know, it's the same teams over and over again. By this time, it's either you're in the small, cool group of Counter-Strike Source, or you're a nobody. And I hate to say that to some of you amateur players that are listening and watching, but if you have to do something to rise above. You're going to have to go to the Combine, and you're going to have to be like, unbelievable. And that'll get you in. There's no more lands, really. It's hard for you to prove yourself. And it's hard for me to say, oh, look at you. You know, it's hard for me to go to land and say, oh, this kid's got talent. You know, here's an example. I never knew who Ruff was prior to the Combine. I went there, and he dropped bombs on a certain team, and I knew how Ruff was eventually in a heartbeat. Snapped my finger. I was like, holy crap, this kid's good. So, you know, it's that type of thing. If you're not really that known, but you go to one land and you do well, then you're on the map. You know, you're on the map. Okay, but, you know, team-wise, there's new teams pop up all the time, just from the same players. Okay. Next question. Which is the CSS player that should be let go? You said keep the 4. You're talking about, I take it you're talking about Venom. Woo asked me about, I'm sure it was in regards to Venom. You know, I don't know. That's up to Alex. That's totally Alex's choice. And honestly, I don't know. I really don't. I really have no idea. I'd keep definitely the core that you've been playing with. Sunman, Dominator, Zid, and you know, Brar. I think, you know, I don't know. Maybe get a different new guy, you know, I don't know. But Mustang's a good player, and it's hard to let him go. I don't know what Alex is going to do. It's really interesting. Gage asked me, Brad, I really haven't been updated with CGS. Is Counter-Strike 1.6 in the CGS now? No and yes. You know, it's an online division now for, it's an online division in the CGS Pro-Am. And the Pro-Am, you can find that on the CGS site, thecgs.com. Okay, another person asked me, who's more online, Bananas in Pajamas or Fever? Fever, definitely. No offense, guys, but you guys, after you played in that recent tournament in Michigan or wherever it was, I don't remember what it was the thing that Eximius Sports won the whole thing in, but after you couldn't make it out of the thing, I was kind of shocked. So BIP is actually a good team. You know, I think they're pretty good guys, and I don't think they cheat. So kudos to Bananas in Pajamas. Easy PK says, I've never been to a LAN before because I live in Hawaii. Dude, you have got to go to the Combine. That's the only way you're going to get one. Enough said. SM Titan asks, is all the CGS teams competing in CVOP this season? You know, that's a good question. I can't answer for all of them. I can't even answer for our team. I think we're going to take a little time out. I think, you know, we are competing in the CGS Pro-Am. I don't know about CVOP. Honestly, Chimera hasn't competed in CVOP in 2 seasons, I think. can't remember if we competed last season or not. Might have. But not that I know of. I mean, I think we might be, but definitely, I don't know. That's a question I'd have to ask Brian. We'll have to decide on that. That'll be up to the players more so, I'm sure. Dazed asked me, Skull Dazed asked me, I should pick up Polar. Well, you know, he's a good guy, I guess. I don't really know a lot about him, but like I said, you know. Let's see here. Questions. Any other questions? I mean, I think I'm answering a lot of questions. I hope they get to them. You know, if you are interested in Chimera, you need to go to our site. If you're already at our site, you might be at our site watching the cast right now. Gary, I appreciate that. Zed, oh, you guys, people are asking. Guys, don't PM me on my Eximius name. You're getting me all kinds of stuff. Experience asked me, who are the most online players? You know, I don't know. In my opinion, I think everybody's online until you prove yourself online. That's my opinion. Portland asked me from Chimera. He's one of my staff members. He says, I don't know if you've covered this, but why couldn't you take a taxi from another team? Like I said, there's a deadline there. So we can't do that, Portland. So I wish we could, but we can't. Okay, Badrewski says my mic is clipping. I don't know what that means. He says my mic is clipping. I don't know what that means. Maybe I'm just talking too loud. Okay, Demonic asked me from Dynamic. Adrian and Demonic will be at the next Combine to shut the CGS teams out. That's what he says, but, you know, I don't know. I hope that, you know, Dynamic does well, but I can't even guarantee your organization will take it. So that's my opinion on that. So here is Zid's question. Zid asked me, who else is doing a good job outside of the CGS besides Shaffer? I'm getting to the final point on Shaffer at the very end. I'm waiting until one point at the very, very end. Let me go ahead and look at a list of players who, in my opinion, are doing really well and are making a name for themselves. At this point, I think that non-CGS players, these are non-CGS players. I do believe that, let's see, I'm trying to find just that, make sure I don't look at anybody. I think Gary Lorita, you know, Gary Lorita, also known as Funshine, is doing a dang good job of that. Grant is doing a good job. Exodus is doing a pretty good job on that also. Remix doing a very good job of getting some exposure. Let's see here. I think Mikey Tux is, in my opinion. I really do. Penguin Murda been doing a very good job. Let me think here also. Experience has. Adrin is one. Sasquatch is one. Sauce from, I missed him. Sauce from 94 Knicks. Deppy is another. Let me think here. Albrook. Disciple. And right now that's about it that I can name. And, oh, excuse me, Tech. Tech is. I'm reading down the list. I'm just making sure that I don't understand who's, just make sure I'm missing anybody. But that's kind of the people that I know that some GMs kind of kept their eye on. So, you know, that's it's good for you guys. Five Alive MS. Matt Smith asked me, where does Remix lay in this picture of one deserving player? Where has he been in this picture? Remix didn't go to the Combines. Therefore, there is no picture for Remix at this point. You know, maybe that can change whenever he goes. I hope that one of the CGS franchise will pick him up. I have a good, close personal relationship with Jared. He and I are good friends. And he has a lot of trust into me. I have a lot of trust in him. I hope that he goes with me to the Combine for the Eximius Sports, but we'll see. Corona asked me, when a taxi player is taken in, does the player who is replaced become the taxi player? Yes, it can happen that way. It can. In some instances, some players will say, hey, I don't want to play anymore, and they'll, you know, they'll say, okay, they'll just stop and let them bring a new player in. Thank you for the question. Frank asked me, hey, Brad, do you think that any CGS teams will ever compete in Cal Invite? No. Never. Bad Apples is good, but at this point, I don't know. Wondering your opinion on Nightfall. I've already given my opinion on Nightfall. I think Jacob is a good player. I think he has a shot in the future. I don't have a config. I don't really play competitively anymore. Logic asked me, do you know anything about Cole? I heard the original Cole members are back to 1.6. Does this mean LA Cole needs a whole new CSS team? Incorrect. Complexity LA CSS is not dedicated to 1.6. They will come back and they will be at source here in about November. November they will come and they will be dedicated completely to source. That's when CVOP will start. That's from my understanding. And they will be competing in it. So that's, yes. That's to answer your question, Logic. Cypher asked me, what do I think of Cal Invite? I think Cal Invite's a joke. Thank you. God bless Cal and everything, but I just do not agree with Cal at all. Pugnacity Tum Tum. Brad, I love your show. My question is, what happens if Shaffer doesn't pull his own weight? Will he be cut and replaced, like pickup of Remix? Well, that's entirely up to Brian. You know, I can't say that. What Lloyd is in now, you know, what happens in between now and then, he could be replaced. You don't know. You know, the pressure's kind of on Lloyd. He's now in the spotlight. He's been trying to prove himself for 3 years. Finally does, and finally gets the recognition. He's in the CGS. So, you know, we'll see how he handles that pressure. Thank you very much. Bad Apples asked me, how do I fit in the picture? If you can elaborate on that, Bad Apples, then I'll try to answer your question. Anonymous person, do you think Cole will be hurt by playing 1.6? I do. I think Complexity is really hurting themselves. I also think that Complexity is not as strong with Haynes. That's my opinion. Now, you know, that's my opinion, and it may not be yours. You could say that Haynes is a great addition, but I think it has really hurt them, chemistry-wise, after, you know, living them in the Cole house for so long, and Haynes stepping in. I think Haynes is a great player, but I don't think he fits the the Complexity roster very well. Hyper Penguin Murder. Regardless of this new pickup, while I respect your players, who on your team can honestly say that can out-op any other franchise in the CGS? The team has gone from old EG with Shagwire Trip, Royal, and has turned into a pug team with no fluency whatsoever. Do you feel your team can even get in a sight without having a strong op? Seems to be the X factor in winning. I just don't see the fluency on the team. I hope to be proved wrong. Good question by Penguin. That's the best question I've ever had in my shows ever. Very good question. I got a lot of respect for you for that. I really do. Here's what Chimera is looking at. Our premier opper is Eric DeBears. Eric is a very good opper. He stands out among some of the great, in my opinion. He can out-op or just op just about as anybody. As good as anybody. Shaffer is a good opper too. He's going to be one of the oppers most likely. Now, where Pasha is going to fit in there, I don't know if he's going to be a rifle or an op. I don't know. Shaffer may have to switch to an M4. I don't know yet. But the key is, you're exactly right. How are you going to get in? The key is you have to have fraggers in CGS now. This game is come to, you know, there is some strat ability, of course, when you get to Tuscan, Season, all those kind of maps. But DDoS 2, it's all about who frags who. Who can frag the most. And, you know, we need fraggers. We really do. We need fraggers bad. And that's why I think we took Lloyd more than anybody else. You know, it's, I don't know. That's a good question. That's probably the best question I've ever had. But chemistry-wise, we're going to be slacking. You are correct on that. We don't have to develop, and that's why we did it now. That's why we made the decision on Shaffer now and not 3 months from now whenever we lose some time. So thank you for the question, Penguin Bird. Very good question. Let's see. Demonic. No, I'm not going to answer it. Riddick. Hawkeye. Who do I believe is the most dominant player in CGS right now? The most dominant player in CGS right now, in my opinion, is Devour. I think Devour is, the last 2 seasons, have been the best player. Him and Fraud. By far. By far. Is there any player with pound sauce skills but has attitude prevented his pick? Yes. There have been players who have been not selected because they have a bad attitude. Yes, yes. yes, yes, yes. And in the past, I'm going to go ahead and mention somebody. Great friend of mine, Jeremy McShaw. Best good friend, but the reason why he didn't get chosen in Season 1, that's a big reason. He's changed his attitude, though, in my opinion. I think he's ready. I think he's ready now. Thank you. Bad Apples asked me, well, how do I fit in the picture? He asked me, what do I think about Anwar Gaming? And I meant, what does it take for one to fit into the picture like Lloyd Shaffer? You know, I don't know. You know, Corey, I don't know. You know, if I think that you, honestly, yourself, this is coming from an observer, you have to start standing out amongst the rest of your teammates. I mean, you're, in my opinion, I think you're a great player. And on Zomblers, you were one of the standout players, in my opinion. You're the in-game caller. You had a very good head on your shoulders. You're very good. You're professional. You have fun. I like that about you, but there's something you have to do to get above and beyond the 94 Knicks. You know, I think you need to stay with them. Don't leave them because they have a great team and they can take you places. But you need to start stepping up above some of those players that are getting the spotlight. I hope that answers your question, my friend. Triple 20 asked me, what, in my opinion, on X3O picking up Keen from U5? I think X3O is hurting no matter what. Their CSS division is so inconsistent, it's retarded. But Nick Fitz always pulls out a way. My boy Nick. You know, Nick is a great guy, great manager. You know, their team would be stupid to leave Nick. Nick's a great guy. I hope they pull it off. So, Kyle asked, how do I feel Shaffer could hold his own? Oh, too late, Kyle. What's the opinion on Sonny on Carolina Core? I think Sonny's a very good M4. I think Shaffer will be able to hold his own. He's been playing against these players for 3 years now. Why would it change now? He's been doing the same thing over and over and over again. The first time, the reason why he didn't get selected, in my opinion, he didn't get selected because he was with Sex Pistols. The second time around, he didn't go to the draft. He got his house broke into. He had to leave. So that was a big thing. He didn't get as much spotlight. Or else I think he would have been taxied. I do. I really do. Why do you think Venom didn't take Classified? I just don't think Classified fit into the picture with the guys. And I think that Alex made that call, not the players. But the players realized that even though they are friends with Classified, that they feel that Mustang Sunman is a better selection. ESEA has nothing to do with Combine. Regent. If we win Showdown on Cevo P, do we have a chance to get into a little fight and my mom got scared? Wow. Come on. Okay, Striker. I still love you. Thank you, Striker. Just for your information, BIP didn't even do anything in Cevo last season, and you said Cal is a joke. But we won Cevo M this season, and we've done great the last year's LAN that we played at. We're going to Showdown LAN this weekend with Zombies at CGS Post competing to keep us an eye on us. By the way, you don't have to talk about that. Well, I talked about it. And I top frag with GX at Combine in Austin. You know, Striker, I'm not saying, buddy, I met you personally. I think you're a great guy. I do. I think you're a great guy, and I think you're working hard. That says a lot. Keep working hard, because I am seeing it, believe it or not. Am I saying you're a standout? You got to stand out amongst the other guys. The Funshines, the Griffs, you know, the Exoduses, the POSs, the Nightfalls. You have to stand out amongst those guys, man. I'm not going to say that you're not a good player. Do I think Dirty Secret will be able to compete in the CGS? I think Dirty Secret needs to mature a little bit. I think he's a great player. I think Brandon's one of the best, in my opinion. I think he's a great player. But I think he does need to mature. I think he's too immature for CGS. That's just my take on it. And, you know, I'm not the only person in the CGS that thinks that as well. So I know there's only one GM that thinks highly of him. That's my opinion. Okay. Prod asked me about his and more gaming. What do I think about it? Personally, I don't understand the purpose of picking up a bunch of players that are known for a gaming organization when Counter-Strike Source, if you're not in Source, or if you're not in CGS, Source is not going anywhere. CGS Pro-Am's good. It's helping the Source community stay active. That's good. We're doing a great job in Championship Gaming Series, keeping this thing alive, but I don't understand why you would want to do that, Prod. I have a lot of respect for you. I think you're a great guy. But you want a tip, if you want to make an organization from a person who's ran an organization for 10 years, go pick up 2 or 3 World of Warcraft teams. Go ask Chris Lemley. Okay? Regent asked me on a 1 to 10 scale, how nutty is Shaffer's op? 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. I think on Shaffer's op, he is a 3. So that's pretty decent, Devour's a 10, or a 1, excuse me. Do I think JD will ever come back from Hyper? Honestly, I don't care. That's straight. I don't even care. Any other questions? Who do I think is the best in-game leader of all time, or all CGS teams? That would have to definitely be... Whew, tough question. From what I saw this year, it has to be Juan. I think Juan is the best in-game leader because he took a team that was absolutely hurting so bad and twisted them around with a core of two players. And, that says a lot. 3 players, and he brings them in and brings some chemistry to the team. Him, definitely. I think he deserved, honestly, I think Juan deserved the MVP. Or, Ephra. I think Ephra deserved the MVP, the newbie come in award, the new guy award, most improved or whatever. Okay, any other questions? I'm going to go ahead and sum it up, guys. Why did we finalize, or why did we keep Shaffer? Why did we take him now? Because he was going to be a hot commodity come draft time. Okay? He was going to become a hot commodity at draft time when we didn't want to waste it now. We wanted to freaking act on it. Okay? We wanted to act on it now, and we did. Shaffer is our man. There's reasons why we picked him. He is a very good player. A lot of you others are good players. We may be looking for taxis. I encourage you one last time. Step up your game. I'm watching. Brian's watching. Brian's told me personally to keep my eye out. Alright? Alright, guys. I wanted to say thank you for tonight. Thank you for coming and listening to me. I love doing this. I promise you I will try not to be away as long this time. I'll try to do one once every 2 weeks. So, this is me. And, stay tuned for me in the future. Alright, guys? Stay tuned. And this is Brad Dick signing out.
Right now.